This is Majinoni, and I haven't done this in a while, so I thought let's take a look at previews. And this is the previews that just came out in March, so this would be books that are coming out in May. Now, DC is doing another wave of their #1 relaunches. So what we have is the Ravagers. If you notice, this kind of has a resemblance to Gen 13, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be like, but at the same time, I don't think the characters really look that interesting. So I think this is going to be a wait and see for me. But since this is a new push for DC, so I thought let's cover these titles. Now, next is GI Combat. Now, this is based off of an older DC title, and to me, this thing just reeks of we need to protect the copyright. And, you know, it's been so long since the last issue of GI Combat, so I'm pretty sure that this is what this is all about. Now, I am kind of curious because it does have dinosaurs with soldiers, and there's going to be lots of, you know, smorgasbord eating with the dinosaurs. So, that has me curious, but I don't know how long I'm going to really be in for this ride. Also, is Dial H. Now, if you remember an older title called Dial H for Hero, basically it was a dial. There was a guy and a girl. They spun the dial thing like they're calling, and they would turn into a superhero for a certain length of time, and they got a random power. In some cases, it was a good power. In other cases, it was pretty crappy. And it was, I guess you could say, fairly popular way back when DC relaunched it, and then now we have a new version of it. I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I don't think I'm going to be here for the long haul, but I'm most likely going to get the first issue. Then there is Batman Incorporated. This, I believe, is stemming from the Leviathans from the old DC universe, so I'm kind of curious to see how that story is going to continue. Then we have World's Finest, and the internet was in an uproar because of Power Girl's new costume. Much more modest. And we also have Earth 2 #1. Now with Earth 2 #1, I have to admit this picture here really did not get me excited. Now keep in mind, I don't know what this book is really going to be about, other than this brief description. But what does this look like to you? This looks like JLA. You got the Parademons, you have a militant Wonder Woman, Superman with a similar costume, and there's Batman. Granted, his costume is a little bit different, but it's exactly the same type of story as JLA. So that, to me, already loses a lot of excitement for me. I'll probably get it, but I don't know how long I'm going to stay. I'm curious, though. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with the Earth 2s. So this one I'll probably get for sure. Now, I'm not going to cover all of this, but you have the Night of Owls continuing in basically every Bat title. Now, we also have Batman Earth 1. Now, if you remember the Superman Earth 1, that was an incredible story. And they did a really, really phenomenal job. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. Now, this one here is by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank and John Siebel. Both of those two guys are doing the art. The art looks pretty decent, and I'm really curious to see where this is going to go, this new take on Batman. I'm really hoping they're going to take some chances, do some risk-taking, and show us something really good. Before I get into the Marvel stuff, I thought I'd show this thing here. Tiger and Bunny. Tiger and Bunny, for those of you who don't know, is one of the greatest superhero animes that you probably have never watched because it's an anime, and it's not on regular TV. Tiger and Bunny is obviously a show from Japan, and it's a superhero show that did Youngblood better than Youngblood, because it was corporate superheroes in a reality TV show stopping criminals. And they had ratings, they had sponsors, they had all that nonsense. and the stories were good, the characterizations were good, the animation was solid. Now I believe you still might be able to find this stuff on Hulu or other streaming sites like that. I don't know how many. I don't think Netflix has it. I don't think Crunchyroll has it anymore, but I think Hulu still had it. Or you might be able to just stream it from this site. Hopefully it's still available. But I know it's going to be coming out on DVD soon. Now the reason why I'm pointing this out is this. These two action figures are amazing. The articulation is solid. They're metalish plastic, and it's mostly plastic, but there's like it's very heavy for like a figure. The poses hold pretty well, and they come with extras. So watch for Tiger and Bunny, because you will be pleasantly surprised when you see this, and you will say, man, how come Marvel can't do an animated cartoon as good as this? Guarantee you. Okay. Let's look at Avengers Assemble number 3 first. Now, why am I showing you this? Because I ripped it to shreds in the previous reviews. Simple. This just proves that they have no concept of what they're doing other than let's throw a bunch of Avengers together who are in the movie to make a comic book. The Hulk cannot carry Thor's hammer. It's impossible. 2 people picked it up. Thor, Captain America. Hulk was not one of them. Also, come on. Hawkeye shooting arrows into the Hulk's body? Please. That's never going to happen. Purely, this is all... I understand this is just a picture to generate interest and excitement. All this does is just shows a lack of disrespect for continuity and what characters are supposed to be like. And this is just appealing to the masses who don't know any better because they saw an Avenger movie or a trailer and they can't take the time to figure out what's going on in an existing story, so they want to buy something that has all the characters in the movie. It's disgraceful. Okay, now along there we have AVX going on. Now, there's a lot of battles going on, people changing sides. I'm not going to highlight all that nonsense because, quite frankly, a lot of this stuff, you're either going to buy it or you're not. You're not going to buy it because somebody's switching a side type thing, or they're betrayed, or anything like that. But I thought this was an important plot point in that you have Captain Marvel coming back. And not only are you having Captain Marvel coming back, if you've noticed floating around online, Miss Marvel has a new costume that looks really bad. So this is probably going to be an important issue of sorts because of the return. Also, now that I just turned this over, technically they're doing a weird retcon for Phoenix because Iron Fist knows about the Phoenix, the secret history of the Phoenix, and all this other nonsense. How come they just can't make it this indestructible bird that flies through space eating planets? How difficult is that? You don't need to do any type of tinkering. You don't need to change things up. It's just it's a force of nature that wants to consume planets, like Galactus. It's pretty simple. Galactus worked, Phoenix could work. That simple. Now, along the lines of AVX, I should probably throw this in there also. I don't know for sure, and I don't have any proof, but I just have this weird feeling Marvel's going to do something funny at the end of this. Now, they're promising big changes. They're promising the world will never be the same. And, granted, heck, even after every single one of their miniseries nonsense things, the world was never the same because one little thing was changed. So technically they're not lying. Now, DC has captured the top 10. They've captured the top 10 for a long time. So Marvel's really does need to do something to step things up to try to recapture some of those spots. I don't think they're going to do a complete and total recon or a relaunch, because if they do that, without telling us ahead of time, people are going to be pissed. Imagine this. You pick up the next issue after AVX, and you're a regular reader who reads the Fantastic Four or Daredevil or some other title that's not really involved in the AVX. And the next thing you know, everything is changed. You are going to be furious because you had no concept that this was going to happen, and you couldn't even prepare for it by reading AVX. So you're totally behind, right? What I do think they're going to do, though, is I can foresee some changes. Like maybe they're going to bring back Jean Grey. Maybe they might do something with the relationship between Wolverine and Cyclops. I'm sure there's going to be something going on with the not necessarily Scarlet Witch, but within the Avengers. Maybe lineups will change. Maybe somebody lives, somebody dies. You're going to have, obviously, the New Mutants fighting Avengers Academy, and things like that. Now, when I mean New Mutants, I don't mean the New Mutants. It's more along the lines of the reject mutants that don't fight normally. Now, I do think there will be big changes. I don't know how big, and I don't know how many they're going to make, but I really do think they're going to do something to make people talk. Now, whether or not these changes are good or bad, that remains to be seen. But I think they're going to do something to make the internet explode and talk, and get people to stop talking about DC for 5 minutes. So keep your eye out on what's going to happen if you don't buy it. Okay, now on to Ultimate X. Oh, sorry, the Ultimates. I just wanted to say this artwork was phenomenal. I guess they found some new artist, Luke Ross, and this is a phenomenal piece of artwork. Okay. Going on to Venom. He can't be original, and so, like Spider-Man, he has his own Sinister Six, and they're calling themselves the Savage Six. Okay. Next up is Exiled. This is a New Mutants / Journey into Mystery crossover. It's gonna be like I'm not even gonna suggest this is gonna be good or not, but I thought I'd bring it up because there's a lot of people who are into the New Mutants and are mutants in general, so this might be something of interest. Personally, I'm probably gonna pass, to be honest with you. And yep, I guess this is it. Fury. Now, I love the cover, and since this is written by Garth Ennis, this is going to be really, I don't want to say insanely popular, but you can imagine this is going to be a little bit more adult-orientated, more mature, and since this is under the Max line, there's probably going to be a certain degree of violence and adult subject matter. So, if you're looking for a Fury that is a little bit more like what he should be like, then you might want to look at this. If you're a fan of Garth Ennis, obviously, you may as well jump on the book because you know you're going to want it. So, this is what I thought was interesting coming up in May. There were some other little titles, like Image has a bunch of new #1s and things like that, but I'm like, none of those things really looked interesting. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys are looking forward to that's coming out in May. And who do you think is going to win the AVX war? Let me know. And I'll have more reviews and stuff like that later, so until next time.